Tonight on The South Today, a report into the wasting of more than 30,000 COVID tests is released, slamming the Ministry of Health. Parts of Dunedin are awash with plastic waste thanks to high tides and wild weather. And the Dunedin Ratepayers and Homeowners Association is being reborn with an axe to grind. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. A review into how the country's lab services were overrun during the Omicron outbreak earlier this year was commissioned in March by Director General of Health, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield. This afternoon, those results were released and point towards systemic failures.
A report ordered by Director General of Health Dr. Ashley Bloomfield into a backlog of PCR COVID tests which had to be destroyed was released on Tuesday. It revealed there were a number of factors at play around the failure. The report revealed laboratory workers were at breaking point and feeling like they'd failed the country due to a backlog of 32,000 COVID test samples more than 5 days old, which had become useless.
It was the most difficult time that I've ever had in laboratories. To get phone calls from people who thought they were letting the country down when we were getting overrun, it was really sad. And the effects of just turning your back and seeing thousands and thousands of specimens coming into laboratories.
The review, conducted by Allen and Clark, found the Ministry of Health had not sufficiently planned for the increased pressure at lab services. The report also found ministers and top health officials were inadequately briefed on New Zealand's testing capacity. That led to a delayed response, along with other failings, which Dr. Bloomfield acknowledged this afternoon.
The review found 4 areas that contributed to the delays. There was an issue around lab capacity. The planning could have been better. Our reporting of lab capacity and also some aspects of our organisational internal design.
New Zealand Institute of Medical Laboratory Science President Terry Taylor says they'd been watching overseas trends and tried to let the government know what was coming.
It's not about blame, but we were making noises about that from early January after watching what happened in Australia with the Omicron outbreak and what happened to their laboratories. It wasn't going to be any different for us, and we had a workforce that was really on edge.
But he believes one of the positive results of this review is professionals will in future be consulted if issues like this look like cropping up.
We've strengthened our testing expertise here in the Ministry and alongside Health New Zealand. We're working with our labs to make sure we put these recommendations into place.
Dr. Bloomfield says the Ministry is also purchasing sufficient PCR tests that it believes will take the country through to the end of the year. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Dunedin's Brockville Kindergarten is celebrating after being welcomed into the Kids Can Under 5s program. Along with pupils receiving warm jackets, socks and gumboots from the Kids Can Charitable Trust, they're now also receiving meals through the Food and Kura program. Brockville Kindergarten has been on a waiting list to take part in the Kids Can Charities food program. It aims to supply nutritious meals to educational facilities where there's a need.
And this is our first day of having Kids Can Kai. Our children are having lasagna today with some lovely vegetables, and everyone's saying they love it. So we just want to say thank you so much to everyone that donates to Kids Can. You're making a big difference to our children.
The Kids Can Charitable Trust was founded in 2005 and has been growing across Aotearoa as the need has grown. Staff in Tamariki at Brockville Kindergarten are pleased to now be part of the program, with head teacher Julie Beard saying many of their families were often unable to make ends meet. Following a weekend of high tides and winds, large amounts of plastic rubbish have washed up along the water's edge of Dunedin's Portsmouth Drive. A local environmental campaigner is calling for the trash to be cleared up before it becomes a threat to feeding seabirds.
Plastic rubbish of all shapes and sizes lies strewn along the water's edge of Portsmouth Drive. Noel Jinku, who founded the organisation Our Seas, Our Future, says it's the worst he's seen in 10 years of helping look after Dunedin's coastline.
I've never seen this magnitude of trash just littered everywhere along the harbour.
Jinku believes much of the rubbish probably comes from Dunedin City. It's either been blown into the harbour or washed in via stormwater drains.
This is an example of how trash ends up in the ocean. Yeah, it's very disappointing.
He says it's important the rubbish is collected before it exits the inner harbour. Seabirds such as albatross could mistake some of the plastic waste for fish and swallow it, as well as feeding the trash to their young.
Any windblown trash just travels up, and there's actually areas of biodiversity up, you know, Albatross Centre and the bird life up. It'll just affect, you know, animals up that way.
The Dunedin City Council says the trash washed up alongside Portsmouth Drive following a weekend of high tides and winds. DCC contractors are responsible for the clean-up and do respond in cases such as this. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Stats NZ has revealed annual food price inflation was nearly 7% higher this year compared to last year. Fruit and vegetables alone have increased by 10% over the last year. Leading the rises were the price of yoghurt, milk and cheese. Both major supermarket chains have since announced price freezes on hundreds of everyday products. Countdown has put a winter price freeze on 500 items. And Foodstuffs, which owns Pack and Save, New World and Foursquare, has cut the price of more than 100 groceries by an average of 10%. A Dunedin Ratepayers group has been reborn, with its new committee pledging to keep the City Council honest. More than 25 people attended last night's first meeting of the Dunedin Ratepayers and Householders Association in almost a decade at the Southern Rugby Club. For many years, the Dunedin Ratepayers and Householders Association, under the leadership of the late Sid Adey, worked to keep members of local government honest. After months of discussion, the organisation was relaunched in Dunedin last night.
The purpose of a public meeting like this is to seek a public mandate from the ratepayers and citizens and householders of Dunedin to be able to say to the council, we represent people in Dunedin. So that's the reason that we have this mandate.
Group Chairman Lyndon Wiggery was at the helm when the previous group was wound up in 2013. He's confident the time is right to start it up again, with an expanded committee voted in at the first meeting. Whaiakane, still to come on the South Today. The tale of a hidden cellar at Danzi's Pass Hotel is spooking the new owners. And we'll share some very special performances from yesterday's Big Sing choir competition in Dunedin.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including Little Bobs.
every season. We're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Passion,
drama, competition,
rivalry,
marketing, numbers,
atmosphere,
power, fight, attack,
intuition,
love, hate, money,
cash,
millionaires,
fans,
and fans. Oh boy.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Another old and run-down villa in Dunedin has been demolished to make way for a new townhouse development. This large house in Musselburgh Rise was knocked down in stages to create space for 7 new townhouses. Projects like these have become more popular in Dunedin and have only been able to happen because of rezoning of land in recent years. Prices for the units start at just under $700,000, with 2 townhouses already sold off the plans. The Southern District Health Board has apologised after doctors failed to diagnose that a woman had cancer despite coming to hospital with bleeding 3 times in 2.5 months. The report found there were several deficiencies in the care of the woman in each of her 3 visits to the emergency department. The patient said despite having had 10 previous years of excellent treatment, the misdiagnosis had lowered her trust in the health system. The Southern DHB says it deeply regrets the missed opportunities for diagnosis. In January, it was found that substandard care of a man in 2019 had likely contributed to his death after doctors failed to detect a colon cancer, which ultimately killed him. The new owners of Danzies Pass Hotel are pursuing an intriguing mystery. Stories passed on from some locals suggest the historic building once had a hidden cellar, but it's yet to be located.
The historic Danzies Pass Hotel has many stories to tell, but some are more elusive than others. General Manager Philip O'Reilly is uncovering a number of mysterious treasures hailing from the pub's early years. In particular, he's trying to find a location of a cellar rumoured to be under what is now Room 6. When the carpet was finally lifted, he was disappointed but remains hopeful. There's no obvious cellar access, but the concrete is different from the other rooms, with patched repairs and parts which sound hollow. At nearly 160 years old, there are many other items from yesteryear to be found. Wagon wheels, tin baths and oil lanterns are buried around the grounds. There's also untouched bottles of booze and stories of a ghost. As for the unlocated cellar, O'Reilly intends to look at options for infrared mapping to locate the subterranean alcove. In Danzies Pass, the South Today.
How to be safe on farms was the topic of a fun day out for rural school pupils living near Uamaru. Students from Mahino and Five Forks schools came together recently for a safety campaign called Think Safe Brain. More than 100 children were taught about farm safety by representatives from Fire and Emergency New Zealand, police, PGG Wrightson and other organisations. The pupils were shown how to look after themselves and their families, both physically and mentally, on farms. Activities included lessons on being aware of tractor blind spots, how to correctly tie down stock feed, the use of fire extinguishers, as well as obstacle courses. Knox Church was filled with song yesterday as choirs from around Otago and South Canterbury competed in the annual Big Sing competition. It was a scaled-back affair this year because of challenges choirs faced under COVID-related conditions. 13 choirs from 12 schools performed in the more intimate Knox venue rather than the traditional Dunedin Town Hall. As we head to the break, we'll leave you with a selection from 4 of the local choirs.
Drop when you every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Well, mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. They're small, perky and fans love the pop-up headlights. Mazda MX-5 sports cars first appeared more than 30 years ago, but can still delight and attract new followers to the brand.
They're a classic, no matter what you think about them. And 33 years after Mazda first debuted the MX-5, owners still love everything about their little roadsters.
They're just a fun car to drive.
It's been one of my dream cars for a while, and I love the pop-up headlights.
And it's a lot of fun to drive. Like, this is a real monster.
Definitely the pop-up headlights, like winking at other cars on the road and like people reacting to the lights popping up and down. Yeah, you can't beat it, it's so good.
Kaiapoi owner Marcus Reid organised a meeting recently to see if any other owners and aficionados in Christchurch wanted to meet up and chat about their favourite car. He was surprised to have 30 fans turn up to share his passion for the iconic little coupes.
They're cheap, easy to get parts and pretty reliable apart from like them being old, but you know, easy to work on too. You know, people aren't too worried about the power aspect of them because they're just fun to drive and get lots of smiles.
While some make tweaks to their car to achieve faster speeds with engine mods, most just love the handling and looks of their vehicles.
Yeah, I was looking for a project car and this kind of popped up in the market. So, I went for a test drive in it and I was sold. I love the handling of them. They're really low, pretty affordable in terms of like aftermarket costs and stuff like that. So, I don't know, I fell in love with it. The pop-ups just got me good.
Reid says he's now made a lot of new friends to share his love for the MX-5, with plans to hold more gatherings in the future. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A review into how lab services were overrun during the Omicron outbreak, leading PCR tests to be thrown out, has revealed systemic failures. A weekend of high tides and winds has caused large amounts of plastic rubbish to wash up alongside Dunedin's Portsmouth Drive, creating a potential hazard for feeding seabirds. And the Dunedin Ratepayers and Householders Association has been revived after almost a decade, with the aim of keeping the DCC and ORC honest. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the Deputy Editor, Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening.
What can we expect in tomorrow's paper, Craig?
Interesting story. There was a bit of angst around the city last night as many people prepared for their evening shower. Apparently a lot of homes, their hot water cylinders are on Ripple control systems, and unfortunately the power company turned off a lot of the customers' water heaters last night. Caused a lot of drama around the city, as you can imagine. Social media was going a bit crazy, and lots of people were calling electricians as well to try and get it around. Aurora has admitted it was a bit of a mistake, and they're looking at the way they go about this now to try and try and prevent it in future. But I guess
Because it was a surprise for hundreds, if not thousands, of houses.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the moral of the story is have a shower in the morning. But yeah, a lot of people did get called out. I had a couple of staff members texting me late at night saying, I can't have a shower. So
yeah.
Can't do much about it, sorry.
No.
We also catch up with Violet Timmins, who celebrated her 100th birthday in Dunedin today. She's a bit of a character, Violet.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, she's managed to survive bomb raids, a cancer scare, and more recently COVID-19. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, she's doing really well, so lovely story there.
Nice.
Our fresh pages, we catch up with Dunedin fashion designer Amber Bridgman, who's off to the London Pacific Fashion Show in September this year.
Lucky thing.
Yeah, her teenage sons, Nukaroa and Tika Harangi, are modelling her clothing. It's something they've done since they're about 18 months old.
Keeping it in the family.
So they're all heading over there for a well-earned holiday, so that should be fun.
Yes.
And just quickly with sports, seems strange to be talking about cricket when it's snowing outside, but Adrian Ciccone has a look at who might be in line for Otago cricket contracts, which are due out in the next few days. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing with us this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, cold southwesterly airflow eases tomorrow and dies out on Thursday, while slowly warming up over the region over the next few days. Heading to the top of the South Island first, fine with nor'westerlies tomorrow in Nelson and 14 degrees. Greymouth will be showery with southwesterlies and 12 degrees. And 13 in Christchurch with a frost to start and then a clear day with southwesterlies. To our southern towns now. Showers clearing and southwesterlies dropping back as the day goes on through here. Balclutha, the Catlins and Lumsden will all get up to 8 degrees, with Gore getting 7. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, Alexandra should reach 9 degrees tomorrow with gusty westerlies. Similar in Wanaka and Queenstown, but with a high of 8. And Te Ano's in for a chilly 7 with showers and southwesterlies. To the northern towns next. Mostly fine with strong southwesterlies again tomorrow. Timaru heads for 11, while Uamaru gets a high of 9 degrees with some showers. Gusty westerlies hang around over in Twizel and Omarama again, also up to 9. Down to Dunedin, biting westerlies as it drops to 5 degrees tonight. Tomorrow looks cloudy with light showers and strong westerlies. Expect a high of 8 and a low of 6. And then Thursday, we'll get high cloud and nor'westerlies before a strong cold southwesterly change in the afternoon, up to 11 and down to 5 degrees. And now to Invercargill, more showers tonight with winds near gale force, dropping down to 4 degrees. Wednesday looks to be cloudy with showers and cold chilly southwesterlies, a high of 8 and a low of 5. Thursday brings a few early showers before a clear but cold afternoon of southwesterlies, a high of 9 and then down to 4 degrees again overnight. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.